Make y'all look. So is Juneteenth a real? I was messed up. So first off, shout out to God. Much love to the G. Juneteenth being or not being a real holiday, I've seen this sentiment echoed by a lot of Galt residents. To be fair, this is California. There is not a lot of black people in California like that. So since 1866, the very first Juneteenth celebration was in 1866. I can show you news articles dating back to that. It is more of a southern and Midwest thing when you go to Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, all the real conservative states, ironically, because when you go out there, there's just more black people out there. There's no city in California where blacks make up more than maybe 30% of the population at best. To give an example, Sacramento's always had Juneteenth celebrations for the last 30 years. Not always, for the last 30 years, right? That's crazy to a southerner. I used to live down south. I lived in Alabama because down south, all our Juneteenth celebrations down south go back to the 1910s, 1900s, even 1890s, 1860s. Now, a lot of people, to be fair, it becoming a federal holiday was when Biden, shout out to Sleepy Joe, he made it a federal holiday, and he made it a federal holiday right after the George Floyd thing. In 2020, you have the BLM rights and this and the third. So a lot of people who lean conservative, they look at it almost like a woke holiday, like almost like a communist, that and the third, right? To those people, what I will say ironic is, I have a lot of friends who are conservative, partly because I'm basically conservative my damn self, right? America. I have a lot of people who can tell me that they have an issue with Juneteenth because they look at it as not a real holiday. A lot of it because they just might not be aware. The California conservatives just might not be aware. A lot of those same people told me, however, that they don't have an issue with Confederate flags. They would never fly one. They wouldn't hang one in front of their yard, but they have no issue with the Confederate flag. They look at it as a history of the South, as part of your history in the South. Now pause. Those of y'all who are veterans, particularly Southern black veterans, what's blasphemous about those two statements? What's blasphemous about? You already know. You'll say this is not a real holiday, but you don't have an issue with people waving flags and symbols of a rebel and not a real country. You have an issue with people celebrating a holiday that celebrates their freedom, but you don't have an issue with the flag being flown that was trying to maintain the freedom away from us. So when we have these conversations, you do have to look at the hypocrisy of certain statements. You do have to look at the hypocrisy of some of these